Transurfer and the Transurfing Curious. My name is Renee Garcia and this is TransurfingTV. And today on TransurfingTV, this is going to be for those of you that have found transurfing or a reality creation practice and are starting to realize some unhealthy connections in your life. Maybe this is a person, maybe this is some attribute of your current layer of reality. It could be a habit. It could be some place, like an actual physical place, or even a place like a state of being, an emotional state that you understand and acknowledge is something that you want to evolve out of, someone you want to evolve away from, some place you want to evolve out of, or something that you want to evolve out of, and are challenged to do so. I know I talk about this a lot, but it's so true. Two things. One, it's our relationships that really hold us back from accessing higher and better versions of reality. Oftentimes, our own thoughts can get in our way, but then also other people's perceptions of us, their ideas for us, their ideas about life and reality, or the ability to actually take control of it. And maybe this is presented to you or projected to you in ways that are guilt-inducing or making you feel like something's wrong with you for wanting something higher and better. I know that I have been challenged by this a lot in my reality myself with the people in my life. And then secondly, this idea that, and this took me a long time to really come to this place of understanding. It did not come easy, but it was absolutely pertinent and crucial for me to access some of those higher versions of reality. This idea that certain people and certain things simply cannot come with you, or that certain people and certain things are anchors in which are holding you down to some of those lower levels of reality, just keeping you in a place where you can't possibly elevate and evolve. So this is going to be a video that's a little bit tough because it's not easy to take the axe to stuff, right? It's not easy to call it and say, this isn't working, I don't need you, I don't need this, or I need to move on from this place, physical or your actual state of being or emotional state. To really call it out and take the steps to evolve from something you need to leave behind in order to access a higher version of reality. This isn't for the faint of heart, but this is for you if you're ready and you want to ask yourself a few questions that may help you to discover some solution and some higher paths to moving past what you need to move past from. Before I get into it though, remember to like this video and subscribe and comment below and follow us on the Facebook group. The Facebook group is a really good place to connect with people and talk about things like this. There are lots of people that have moved through this knowledge like me, that have deeper insights and can offer support, because I know a lot of these things that we're talking about are not just as easy as they sound, right? I totally get it. I totally get it. So before I get started on my first point, let me just state that what you're going to hear today, you might not be ready to make a move on this information right now. Keep it in the back of your mind. This might pop back up for you later. And this video is here for you at another time when maybe you decide it's time to move on. You can come back and have another listen, and maybe, you know, then you can move on to taking some actual action and evolving away from something. So the first question that I want to ask you, I know this sounds like a very simple question, but again, especially when we're dealing with things like family and stale marriages that are no longer serving us or our intentions, or a profession, or something big that has been a big part of your layer of reality for years or decades. This is a huge, huge, huge question. Some of you may immediately say, oh yes, there is something or someone or some place that I need to let go of. And then maybe for a few of you, it will be a very, how should I put it? A very deep and meaningful conversation with yourself to discover if there is in fact something massive that you need to move on from. So this is question one. Does someone, something, or some place need to go? So I'm going to offer you 3 sub-questions to this question to consider. The first being, if you've answered this right away and you're like, yes, absolutely, someone, something, or someplace needs to go. I either need to leave this profession, or I need to leave this habit, or I need to leave this person. This would be the first question to really consider if you feel like there definitely is space for you to move on, but you're not really certain and you're kind of in that place of limbo. So to ask yourself, is there evolution happening with this person, place, or thing? Or is it degradation? Or is there no change at all? So for me, and I know these sound really simple in nature, these questions and these ideas, but to really look at what it is your challenge to evolve out of, and being honest with yourself. So for me, personal example, my relationship with certain family members, I had to look very, very, very honestly at certain relationships in my life and ask myself, are they evolving? Are they degrading over time, or is there no change at all? Because this is why we've come to reality transurfing. This is why we've come to the world of reality creation, is to evolve. This means that all of your set and decorations must be evolving with you. Otherwise, they are just those anchors holding you down to lower lifelines. So if you can honestly say that there is no evolution with the relationship, the thing, or the place could be your professional environment. Are you evolving there? If you're not evolving there, or you are not evolving with the person in question, or if you are seeing no change in that habit or that state of being that you're looking to leave behind, then it's probably time to let it go. Now, the no change at all can kind of be like neutral ground. Maybe it's going to take some time to discover if that thing can rise up with you. Sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. Sometimes they will, and sometimes they don't. But if it's degrading over time, and this is where there's a nuance here that becomes extremely powerful if you can see this. And this is where I arrive to, and I'm so happy that I saw this, but it's a very, very, very difficult thing to see, especially when it is a relationship with a family member that you see this. But if you are starting the process of taking accountability, evolving, self-development, learning to love yourself more, and you are starting to elevate to some of those higher lifelines or that higher version of yourself, and the relationship actually gets worse as a product of you evolving, there's definitely a problem. There's definitely a problem. So this is what happened to me. I started to evolve, higher thoughts, higher actions, becoming my higher self. And this challenged a number of people in my family who did not want or agree with this version of myself that I was coming into. And the relationship actually started to degrade and get worse and worse and worse. More, pendulum bait sort of situations, trying to bait me into arguing, bringing me back down, trying to get me to remember where I came from or remember who I was. Oh, Renee's just on her high horse. Oh, who does she think she is? I actually had a family member say that they didn't want to look at any of my social media because their perception of me and the perception that others had of me, there was such a big gap that it actually made them feel uncomfortable, so they didn't look. Meaning they did not like to see me. It made them uncomfortable to see me being regarded highly by others. If there's anything playing out like this in your reality, it's definitely time to consider evolving out of this relationship or this place and seeing yourself to a reality where you do not have to deal with someone attempting to bring you back to that place where you are attempting to evolve out of. 2, are you dependent on this person, thing, or place? And why did you allow this to happen? So I get lots and lots and lots of messages from people asking me what they should do about a person that they can't get out of their reality and they want to. Now, sometimes these are things that we have no control over, like people that have to maintain a relationship with an ex because there's a child involved. But there's sometimes other things like there's financial dependency. And at a certain point, it really comes down to asking yourself, is the financial comfort or whatever this person, place, or thing is offering you, is it worth you not navigating to that higher version of yourself? I know for me personally, I would rather be broke, living in a small little studio somewhere with no car and no money, trying to do what I can to rise up, than to accept some sort of conditions from someone that the contingency is that I need to continue to live in a way that is going to be acceptable to this person that has placed those conditions on me, or that has offered me those conditions with these contingencies, if that makes sense. And I've been in these situations before too. My God, I got myself into some horrible relationships where they just did not want to see me come out of a certain mode of being. But then for me, there were things that were present in the relationship that I didn't want to give up. So I would compromise myself for whatever gains were to be had. And this is just spinning your wheels in the wrong direction. I mean, this is really not a good place to exist for an extended period of time. So again, are you dependent on this person, thing, or place, and why did you allow this? And then 3, will peace of mind come from unentanglement and distance? This is a hard one because a lot of times we don't know what's beyond. But for me, I did at least have the insights that what it was I was continuing to experience with certain people that I had to let go of after finding Reality Transurfing. I had these insights that I was being hooked. I was engaging and communicating in lower ways. And I knew somehow that if I could free myself of these entrapments, these very complex dynamics that had been formed, this very complex dynamic that had been formed over time, if I could free myself of this and actually allow myself to create some new ways of communicating, some new ways of engaging and loving, and not only feeling better for myself, but feeling better with the other person. And I probably didn't say that exactly right, but I'll break it down. A lot of times when we are in some sort of dysfunctional entanglement with someone else, we think about how it's affecting us, but we don't necessarily think of how it's affecting the other person. We have the ability to be toxic just as much as the toxic people we have in our layer of reality. So in order for us to really, really move on, we have to allow ourselves the relationships that are going to support and love us. Relationships that we haven't seen yet. But at the same time, we've got to put ourselves into scenarios and relationships that are going to allow us to be better with the people, the new people in our realities as well. Mutual support, mutual love, mutual health. And a lot of times these complex relationships that have formed over years and decades, they've become toxic, they've become poisoned, and there's really no way out at a certain point. And in order for you to truly be able to move on to that higher version of reality where you have the relationships that are good, healthy, and thriving, you've got to put yourself in the environment where you're actually able to give that to the other person and the new people. So this is about separating for you and separating for them as well. So to move on, are you capable of an all or nothing approach? So what I did, what I have done, is I drew my line in the sand. I'm not doing this anymore, right? We can figure out ways in which we can be higher and better together, or I'm not doing it anymore. And this is a very, very, very stern approach to take, especially with family members. It's a little easier with romantic relationships. It's definitely a lot easier with friends. But with family members and lifelong relationships, to really just be able to arrive to a state, to a place where you're going to call it and you're going to lay it out exactly what you want and say, this is what I'm capable of and this is what I'm not capable of. I'm not going to take any more shit. And if there's any more of this, I'm moving on. And then holding to that, oh my God. This is not for everyone. And for me personally, this has been a huge, huge endeavor to separate from toxic relationships with family members. But the most beneficial to my layer of reality. It's a little bit hard at certain times, I won't lie, you know, Mother's Day and certain birthdays and things like that. But overall, when I can wake up and feel light and go throughout my day and not think about all this stuff from the past and all this stuff from yesterday and all this stuff that I've got to do to try to work this relationship and please this person and make this work or protect myself just to call it and be finished and go on with my life. As I called the video, nothing left for you or yesterday, right? There's nothing left. All that's here now is for me and my forward and up future, but there's nothing left for that yesterday and past. Finally, to wrap this up, can you envision yourself thriving, healthy, and happy without the presence of this person, place, or thing? So this is a challenging one because, again, it's hard for us at times to envision what is unknown, what we don't know is out there, what the layer of reality looks like without having experienced it first. But I'll leave you with this. If today you are challenged to leave something or someone behind, just try to embody and feel and embrace a little bit of a state of being, of you being happy, free, and healthy without the presence of this person, place, or thing a little bit more today. So this is what I did, and this is kind of my number one trick for not only moving on from something, but moving forward to something better, is start feeling that today. Start feeling that state of being, of you feeling happy to be free, starting today. And what this does is it sends a projection, broadcast out into your world, that your world responds back to you with ways in which you can move on and you can move forward from this person, place, or thing. So embody and really resonate with the state of being first, of you being free of the person, place, or thing, and then your world will come around you and sort of scoop you up and show you all the ways in which you can liberate yourself. So let me know your thoughts on this video, everyone. I hope this is helpful for those of you that are ready to move on from something. I'm definitely curious to read some of your comments if you have moved on, what you did, and if you're ready to move on today, use Transurfing and the community as a support. This isn't easy stuff, but the tools are here, so use them. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.